on North America's Great Plains. A windswept ocean of grass stretching to the horizon. Bone-dry summers, knuckle-freezing winters. This land is exposed. But right in the middle, mountains rise, South Dakota's Badlands, a barrier and a protective wall. One species has colonized this land: prairie dogs. Theirs is a life of constant conflict, both within the group and with outlaws attacking from outside. In this Wild West, life hangs by a thread. Following 5 months of icy winds, winter takes a short break. After months of fasting underground, there's nothing left outside but dried grass. A few roots prized from the soil to quell their hunger. Work starts on an empty stomach. Males use a lot of energy scooping out crumbling soil, repairing their burrows flattened by the winter winds. In a time of famine, everyone defends their tiny piece of land and the little they possess. They live side by side, but it's everyone for himself. The tension between neighbors is palpable. Prairie dogs live in clans of about 100, called coteries, where everyone is related. The burrows of large families are linked by tunnels. The whole community extends much further. Dozens of coteries side by side, making a huge town. It's safest to live in the center of the coterie because the predators roam the suburbs. Understandably, that's what everyone wants. Crowding causes conflicts. You can stake a claim, but then you have to defend it. This is Old John, the clan's dominant male. He lives in the center. Females like that. But every year, young males challenge him. Like Peter, he wants to rule. He's not the only one. Stocky Charles knows his strength and seizes his chance. Conflict is inevitable. First stage, test the other's reflexes. Joyful spring tumbles become bloody free-falls. Scrapping and scraping. Aiming for the eyes and the genitals. There are no rules here. It's all about power. And there can only be one result. The old boss throws in the towel. Old John has lost his home. Charles fought hard too, but now he beats a retreat. It's done. Peter's in charge now. Old John pays dearly for his defeat. He's badly wounded. These scars will last. His females stick by him. They have already found him a burrow on the edge of town. Nothing takes away the sting like a snug snooze with his loyal companions. The burrow's temperature hardly varies through the year, 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. That's a good thing, because outside, the north wind has brought winter back. Only these giants of the west remain above ground. "200 years ago, before the settlers came, this was their land. They dominated the plains in their tens of millions. 1% remain. The females huddle, shielding from the wind. If the winter persists, they'll delay the birth of their young. The males live alone. At the end of summer, they'll rejoin the females for the mating season. As the temperature drops to -35, these one-ton colossi never stop looking for food. The blizzard has blocked the entrances to the burrows. The town seems calm, but the calm is deceptive. On the edge of town, Old John's sharp eyes have spotted a predator, a badger. It doesn't like the daylight. This means danger. Badgers hate cold. That's why it waits for the sun before checking the burrows. With its sense of smell so acute, it knows exactly how many prairie dogs are hiding in each one. Only 2? Not enough. This one's too deep. No point wasting energy. For a badger, the perfect burrow is one with a single entrance. The badger isn't the only vagabond looking for prey. Stunned by hunger, a coyote wanders its territory. He's not so good at finding prey, so he makes do with whatever he can get while he waits for the snow to melt. Finding a well-stocked burrow, the badger starts on the groundwork. The noise wakes old John and his mates. In their haste to move in, they forgot the first rule of safety in a burrow. Make sure there's an emergency exit. Old John and his females are in danger. His powerful claws make the badger a digging machine, excavating a path toward the burrow. When he reaches their tunnel, John and his females will have no way out. They can't get past him. The only question is who'll be eaten first. Here in the West, prairie dogs rarely die of old age, and badgers don't die of hunger. Days later, a brief thaw. Charles and Caroline take a look outside. The late snow delayed construction work, lots to catch up on. The burrow entrances must be repaired. The dome shields them from the wind and is a perfect lookout point. No time to waste. Charles sets to work. With the thaw, the soil is softer and easier to shape. Then Charles pauses. Sharp cries fill the plain. A sentry announces a familiar threat. A cruising coyote with his mate and 2 yearling cubs. All starving. Winter's forced diet has been too long. A plump little prairie dog would be a very welcome meal, if you can catch it. The prairie dogs are like temporary tenants here. The coyotes rule the Badlands and never miss a chance to prove it. Now prairie dogs like Peter and Charles forget their rivalry and cooperate. This is about life and death. The clan's sentries have different calls for different types of threat. Right now, the whole colony knows that a coyote is closing in fast from the right. The information flies from neighbor to neighbor till all are warned. Prairie dog language may be the most sophisticated in the natural world. Under constant observation, this coyote family can never take the clan by surprise. So, change tactics. Play it cool. Pretend you're not there. By late afternoon, the guards might lose interest. You get used to everything. even a killer in your midst. The coyote strolls about, one keen eye on who's watching. Then he moves like lightning. The whole clan celebrates his humiliation. But the coyote can't afford to give up. The prairie sun has cleared the last vestiges of winter. Peter can finally finish his burrow. If the females will let him. Love is in the air. Time to forget construction work and the dangers of the prairie. It all starts with a kiss, indicating one's identity to a potential partner. And making sure they're not from the same family. This time of year, males try to mate with many partners. Caroline is primed for mating. It only happens once a year, so Charles must seize his chance. It's now or never. And then Caroline's behavior completely changes. Her only interest now is lining a burrow, making a perfect nest. Tensions rise among females when pups are expected. Ideal nests are in short supply. A clan might grow too big with too many mouths to feed. Peter's mate, Jill, won't tolerate a rival. If Caroline has a big litter, there'll be less grass for Jill's young. Jill harasses Caroline till she goes to ground. Then, Jill tries to block the entrance to the burrow and bury Caroline alive. Luckily, Caroline has prepared an emergency exit. She'll carry on her work, but she's had a shock. Gathering grasses far from home is a touchy job. In the lawless West, it's easy to steal forage like this. Ask Jill. Why do the work if you can grab a ready-made? At this time of year, sisters and cousins are enemies. Constant harassment is exhausting for pregnant females. Caroline could lose her babies. The tall grass heralds the coming of spring. It's the first glimpse of nature for the coteries' new arrivals. The little prairie dogs have spent 6 weeks underground. It's time to discover a new world. Climbing down the mountainside is the first adventure. But you have to dare if you want the luscious new grass. Some would rather stick to their mother's nipples. But it's time they learn to feed themselves. There are up to 6 in a litter. Right after birth, Peter's partners Jill and Beth help each other out. One guards the young while the other feeds. The dome of the burrow is their creche. They learn by imitating the adults. In 2 years, these boisterous babes will quit the comfort of the nest and start their own families. If they're still alive. Only half survive their first year on the Great Plains. Beth's ragged coat is proof of her stress. The danger from predators is a big worry. But it's not the only one. Prairie dogs watch out for their enemies and for their friends and neighbors too. Clan Chief Peter is suspicious. Are his females' babies really his own? By smearing himself with their scent, he'll know for sure. If they aren't his, he'll kill them. Beth and Jill will defend their young. No way will they let a potential killer into their nest. Ignoring his partner's protests, Peter seeks out any trace of the young in the earth around the burrow. Each baby has its own smell, like a genetic code. Woe to any baby with the scent of another male. The females are getting more and more distressed. They will do all they can to ward off the dominant male. Peter seems to recognize his own offspring, taking the pressure off the females. Jill and Beth aren't completely reassured. It's better to be safe than sorry. They move their young to a safer burrow. The situation is diffused, and the young learn to hide in times of danger. Calm returns to the coterie, at least for now. Some animals have moved off the prairie, taking advantage of the crags. The bighorn's sharp hooves are perfect for negotiating steep, slippery slopes. The females gather in herds, pacing the crests in search of high pasture. Up here, they have the food all to themselves. Except when an uninvited guest turns up. Balanced on the mountainsides, young males play rat, far from the females. The real fights start later in the season. On reaching sexual maturity, each will go his own way to conquer new territories. Mature bighorns are mostly loners, but they sometimes take a young buck under their wing, guiding it over the labyrinth of fissures. It's a two-way relationship, though, with the young buck as observer and bodyguard. Coyotes rarely venture this high, but two pairs of eyes are always better than one. Before the Badlands were formed, this was once a great, shallow inland sea. For 75 million years, sediment settled, shale deposits absorbed ferrous oxide, enough to take on these pink and yellow hues. By tracing the different strata, scientists have uncovered the region's geological history. 500,000 years ago, the ocean withdrew, leaving only rivers. Little by little, water and wind carved the landscape into these steep, craggy peaks. This stone is soft, eroding 2 centimeters every year, 10,000 times as fast as granite. Long-awaited rain flows from the summits, depositing fine clay particles on the plains. That's the secret of the fertile, soft soil, ideal for prairie dogs constructing burrows. The animals of the plains rarely get the chance for a change of scene. For the painted turtle, this shower is a godsend. Its pond was its whole world. It has decided to set off for a new home. With little bumps on the way. Charles won't sound the alarm. He doesn't have any vocabulary for this strange animal. And yet, the painted turtle is one of the oldest inhabitants here. Its ancestors crept between the prairie's best rivers and ponds for 15 million years. This marsh will supply all the turtle's needs. It loves insects and larvae, and occasionally chomps on a water plant. And there's perfect mud to hibernate in through the next few winters. Quiet, peaceful places like this are rare in the Wild West. In this ecosystem, rain showers generate waves of new kinds of grasses, food for all the prairie animals. The little pups couldn't be happier. The dense lushness is just what they need to grow. The sugars in the grasses will turn into fat reserves to see them through the winter. Meanwhile, Charles and Caroline are keeping the grass short. If they weren't there to eat it, it'd be more than a meter tall. The badger family are never far away. They've grown too, more mouths to feed. Thanks to the prairie dog's grass cutting, the badgers can't sneak up on them. All the herbivores benefit from the prairie dog's maintenance. First, the bisons. They like tender grass shoots that won't scratch their eyes. The sheer variety of flora attracts pronghorn antelopes. Unlike bighorns, they don't climb mountains, but they do have an amazing turn of speed. Peaking at 90 kilometers an hour, the American continent's fastest mammals. There's no predator here that can catch an adult. This coyote steers clear of the big herbivores, concentrating on prairie dogs, whose population has tripled. Every day he trots up to 50 kilometers around Prairie Dog Town. The food is close by. All he needs is one careless prairie dog. But where? They're all watching. He's not doing too well. In fact, a coyote captures prey only once in 6 attacks. That long patrol only made his hunger worse. Badgers don't waste their time. A tried and tested tactic: choose a well-appointed burrow, dig, and wait. Sometimes badger and coyote team up in a territory, but they never share their spoils. In the season of abundance, you don't really need to work together. You just get on with it. You can still learn from your neighbor. A coyote can invade a burrow too. The rising wind disturbs prairie dog communication. And at some point, the sentries tire of watching. Who will poke his nose out first? The ultimate war of nerves. Harriet moved too soon. Her impatience cost her her life. Patience means more than speed and strength. In summer, the coterie never really sleeps. Peter's clan faces one more threat. A black-footed ferret has joined the hunt. There are only 400 of North America's most endangered mammals. Most of them are here in the Badlands. Prairie dogs make up most of its diet. But when coyotes and badgers decimate whole families, the ferret barely gets a look in. The lack of food has almost driven it extinct. A moment of prairie calm. Jill and Caroline use the time to pile on the calories. Hugs and kisses strengthen social ties across the generations. But there's an intruder. The rattlesnake is a formidable hunter, and it preys on baby prairie dogs. Panic grips the females. Suddenly, their kisses transmit the scent of fear. Thanks to its heat sensors, the rattlesnake has an extraordinary sense of smell. Its forked direction finder tracks down the prey. With danger down at their level, Peter and Charles quit their rivalry. They know they have to be careful. But they also know a rattler is really a shy creature. When stressed, it would rather withdraw than attack. The reptile chooses a tactical maneuver, withdrawing into an empty burrow. No sooner has it settled in than it senses the beginnings of an earthquake. The big boys are on the move. The return of the bison is not good news for Peter and his family. The downside of summer: too hot, too many insect bites. Bad for big and small. The bison have their own solution: a dust bath. Dried out burrows are the ideal place to scrape off parasites. The clay is great for their coats. Peter and Charles can only look on as the damage is done. Their precious burrows flattened by a single roll. Nothing for it, just build them up again. Time to move on. And create a second wave of panic in Peter's clan. The mother badger was watching the whole time. She sees the sentries are distracted. Peter senses the danger too late to reach his burrow. As a dominant male, he's not allowed to seek safety in a neighbor's burrow. He's on his own, like all the others. The mother badger sees her chance, stalking shell-shocked rodents, keeping low. She has limited stamina, but a turn of speed when she needs it. It's over. Peter is caught. An anguished cry spreads through the colony, mourning the failure of their warning system. Mother badger ignores them. She's making a food store in an empty burrow for her pup to survive the winter. A great day for the young badger. His mother brought him his first meaty meal. The coterie, the clan, has lost its dominant male. There'll soon be another. But before that, the prairie dogs must concentrate on the last grasses, building up energy for the winter. In spring, the natural order will be restored. Love will be in the air again, and the long story of the colony will continue.